Nobody I know wants to hear from me, so I will keep this very short and simple. If you know anything about Norm, he loved going back to Hitler. He was just a Hitler-obsessed guy. I will just give context for one of them, and I actually do read a lot of history, including World War II, but I keep forgetting this. Canada had a very active role in liberating Europe. Norm is a Canadian. Often I think people think he's American. He's not. So he's going to draw upon Canadian history.
In the course of his summation, Cochrane also brought up Detective Mark Furman, calling him a, quote, genocidal racist, and comparing him to Adolf Hitler. Furman later responded, "After all the things he said about me during this trial, it's a little late to start sucking up now."
This Saturday, I don't know if you're aware of it, was 420, and so it was a madhouse over there.
It's April 20th?
No, 420. Yeah, it was April 20th, but 420. You know 420.
No, what's that?
How do you not know? You've never heard of 420?
No.
Well, it's a big deal. I mean, it's real popular in the culture right now, and everybody's wearing 420 shirts, and you see 420 bumper stickers, and everyone's talking about it. 420 is a code term used primarily in North America that refers to the consumption of cannabis, and by extension, a way to identify oneself with cannabis subculture. Observances based on the number 420 include smoking cannabis around the time 4:20 p.m. as well as on the date April 20th.
No, what date is that? What year?
This was around 1970.
No, this.
Anyway, a widely discussed story says that a group of teenagers in San Rafael, California, used the term in connection to a fall 1971 plan to search for an abandoned cannabis crop that they had learned about.
Huh? 420 was the birthday of Austrian-born German politician and the leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, a fella went by the name of Adolf Hitler. But this guy, there's a picture of him. Adolf Hitler, very compelling kind of a figure. Odd-looking duck, but there's something about his eyes. Hypnotic. His eyes are almost entirely black. He was a decorated veteran of World War I. And he joined the war. Hold the fort. He hated Jews. I'm sick of these kind of characters. I think we should kill Hitler. Me and you go suicide, kill him.
It was died 50 years ago, probably.
Did he? I didn't even know he was sick.
He wasn't, well, no, that's fine.
I wish I could find a Hitler of today and go kill him.
You didn't know who Hitler was?
Yeah, like many of us, I didn't. But I do now. And let me tell you something. That guy's no good. Now, I grew up like you, thinking the Nazis were a bunch of funny fellas, because I watched Hogan's Heroes every week. But it wasn't like that. Oh, I know nothing, I see nothing. A lot less funny when you figure that was the cornerstone. Anyways, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is my dad went over and he liberated Holland. I'll tell you something about the Dutch. They don't forget, you know. My dad, a dirt poor farmer, you know, couldn't be poor, went over to Holland, liberated the country, and they never forgot. Every 5 years he would go and they would throw petals, you know, and it was fantastic.
They're still grateful. The Dutch were so grateful for what the Canadians had done.
So I went over.
He was in the Canadian Army, right?
Yeah, well, mostly it was my dad, but
yeah.
No, I used my dad as a surrogate for the entire Canadian Army.
Right.
But so I went over because my dad's dead. And so I said, it'd be great to see, you know. And so I went to Amsterdam, and oh my Lord. At first, you know, it's a picturesque place. People are driving around their bicycles over cobblestone streets with canals. It's beautiful, windmills, and it looks, but then the whole country's gone to hell in a handbasket. They got, you would not believe this. You can do drugs legally.
Really?
Legally. They have a place called coffee shops, right? So I went into one. I said, hey, man, I enjoy coffee, but can I have a coffee? They're like, we don't have coffee. It's a coffee shop. They go, we got drugs. So I'm like, I don't want drugs. That's wrong. What the hell are you talking about, you know? And then prostitutes. They have prostitutes in the window. You can walk along, and there's prostitutes in the window that you can go and have illegal sex. It's legal there, and it's all ass over tea kettle wrong, you know? And so then I had a whole different view of the place of just these, you know, crazy people.
Just not right.
So anyways, one night I was going back to my hotel, and I'm going back to my hotel, and I can't find my hotel because everything's in, you know, they're all foreigners, so it's all different language, hard to find streets and stuff. So I was walking around forever. Finally, I see my hotel, you know, and I get there, and there's a red light, you know. And have you ever been to those places where, not a red light like a red light district,
a traffic light,
a stoplight that was red, and you know when the red never changes? Yes. You ever been in that experience? So I'm standing there, and the red, a minute goes by, 2 minutes go by, 3 minutes go by, whatever minutes go by, and it never changes, and there's no traffic at all. So finally I go, I'll just walk across the red light, right? Yeah. What harm can be done? Walk across the red light, immediately a police officer comes riding a bicycle. So then this guy, you know, he's like, you know, talking with his foreign thing, and so he writes me a ticket, you know. I go, are you kidding me? Your whole country's a bunch of drug-smoking prostitute people, you know?
This doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. And also, if it wasn't for my dad, then that guy wouldn't get to have the freedom to drive his fruity bicycle anyway, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, he'd be living in a country where a guy was going, "Skankly, skankly, skankly."
I'm glad you're back.
Everybody says Hitler was a bad man. No one disagrees with that.
Of course not. What's the matter with Larry? Doesn't he know that?
You know? But anyways, I'm old now, you know. I was young. Now I'm old. Yep. I learned some things in school. But now that I'm old, things scare me, you know, and I think it's the media does it. Like, they go, North Korea, you know, and I don't know, it kind of scares. It doesn't scare me that much, but it's supposed to scare you. But, like, are you really scared? Have you ever woken up, go, ah, and your wife's like, what's the matter, honey? North Korea. They're a little tiny country way the fuck over somewhere. I'm scared, honey, I'm scared. I'll tell you, Iraq doesn't scare me, North Korea, none of those countries scare me. There's only one country, really, that scares me in the whole country, or in the whole, what do you call that's bigger than a country but less than a galaxy? Earth. The entire Earth, there's only one country that frightens me, and it's the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are students of history or not, but for those of you who aren't, Germany, in the previous century, of the early part, they decided to go to war. And who did they choose to go to war with? The world. So you think that would last about 5 seconds and the world would fucking win, and, you know, that'd be that. But I think it was actually close. And then, I don't know how that worked, but then 30 years pass, and Germany decides to go to war again. And once again, they choose as their foe the world. And now, this time, they really almost win. So at this point, you would think the world would go, okay, Germany, you're fucking not a country anymore, all right? The fuck? You're not a country because you keep going to war with the world. And no one does. What do you think you are, Mars? You think you're Mars or something? But, you know, you're supposed to crunch up cans, and I think it's a good thing. You know, you got the orange, and then the green, there's blue, and you crunch the cans, and you put that, And you should do that. I'm not doing it, but you guys should do it because it's important, you know? With Hitler, the more I learn about that guy, the more I don't care for him. I can't. Yeah. And there's nothing redeeming about the guy. I tell the guys, I go, how on earth could these Germans like follow this lunatic, you know? And they're like, oh, he was an incredible public speaker, you know? He could hypnotize you with his public speaking. And then I see him, he's like, strangely, correctly, strangely. I go, what? That's not my idea of a silver-tongued devil, you know?
Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan has accused the National Park System of racism, claiming the agency deliberately undercounted the number of participants at his Million Man March. A spokesman for the Park Service denies the charge, saying, quote, our estimate is based on state-of-the-art aerial photography. We stand by our number. Heil Hitler.